happening, ladies and gentlemen? Sean Avery here with the next lesson in the Children's Book Council Make Your Own Storybook competition. Now, at this point in the creation of your book, you have finished your first draft of your story, and you've gone and maybe done your second draft where you've used your writer's toolkit to, maybe add some words, take some words out. Maybe you've sprinkled a bit of figurative language in there to spice it all up. Use a bit of show, don't tell, and you are maybe working on your sketches now, your thumbnail sketches. Maybe even you've got it really far ahead and you've started to do some finalized finished drawings. Now, what I want to talk about today, it's very important. It's the shape and the size of your book. Now, books, as you can see in my shelves behind me, books come in many different shapes and sizes, and you have to decide on a shape and a size for your book. And this lesson's all about sort of going through a few considerations so that you can create the best shape, size book for your specific story. Now, before I show you some examples at my desk and some of those considerations, I do need to make sure that you guys know about the rules of the shapes and sizes for the competition. So if you are entering the Children's Book Council competition, your pages, each page in your book cannot be any bigger than an A4 piece of paper. So this is an A4 piece of paper. It's like your standard piece of paper that you put inside a printer, and it can't be any bigger than that, and it can't be any smaller than an A5 piece of paper, which is like half an A4. So that means if your book opens up, it can't be any bigger than sort of two A4 pages next to each other. So like an A3 piece of paper. And guys, it doesn't have to be just the standard A4 size. As a matter of fact, your book will look really cool if you create your very own custom size and shape. You know, you might decide to cut a little bit off the top and have a square shaped book. You might decide to chop it down the middle and have a really long, kind of tall, skinny book. You might decide to have a smaller, sort of a squarish book. It's really up to you, but I will show you a few examples right now so that you can get some ideas and then you can make an informed decision. So here's the maximum size that your page can be in your book, and here's the minimum size. So maximum A4, minimum A5, and it's really your choice. You can trim and change it to whatever suits the style of your book. So you can have it landscape, you can have it portrait, you can have a square book if you want to. Now, why would you pick one over the other? Well, it really just depends on the type of story you've written. So, for example, if you've written a story like A River by Mark Martin, where you have imagery that is quite long, so you've got like big sprawling jungle scenes, or I don't know, maybe like desert scenes. It would be really cool to have a little bit more space to create your long landscapes. This particular story is about a river that runs all the way through a city and then all the way out into a jungle and through to the ocean. Now, the subject of this book reflects the shape of the book very well. The river flows from one side of the page to the other, and you get a real sense of how long this river actually is. So it's just beautifully done, and the illustrator has got more sort of space to show just how long and winding it is. So I guess it's the subject matter is reflected in the format of the book. The same can be said for this book over here by local WA author-illustrator Kelly Canby. Now you can see this book is a portrait style book. It's quite a tall book. Why is it tall? Well, there are heaps and heaps of trees in this book. It's called Rodney. Rodney's this little tortoise down here. And the whole thing about Rodney is that he sometimes feels a little bit small and a little bit insignificant when he's at the base of these trees. So making the book tall. Ooh,
That's pretty cool. I've got a signed copy of this book. How awesome is that? So, yeah, having the book nice and tall gave Kelly the space to make the trees nice and tall as well, and to really emphasize just how small little Rodney is. I highly recommend this book, by the way, guys. If you ever see it, it is a brilliant one. This book over here, Mr. Small. And you can see how, this is a really obvious example, but you can see how the size of the actual book reflects just how small Mr. Small is. Now, I think this particular book might actually be a little bit less than our minimum page size. Yeah, it is. So you couldn't have a book this small, but just to give you an idea of, you know, the subject matter. Obviously, this is a book about a little man, and he's very, very tiny, so it would make sense to have a really tiny book for him. What else have we got? We've got, this one over here. This is a storybook called Lulu and the Brontosaurus, written by Judith Fiost and illustrated by Lane Smith. Now, a Brontosaurus is it's a very sort of tall dinosaur. It's got a long neck, and so obviously the designer here, Lane Smith, has opted to have a slightly skinnier, taller book to show that the Brontosaurus is quite tall. Let me see if I can find a page where we can see the Brontosaurus. There we go. So look at this. You got all this space to show the Brontosaurus's neck going all the way up, and yeah, I guess it's really just a personal preference to what size your book's going to be. If you're making a storybook for kind of older readers, you might also want to consider that older readers aren't going to want to sit and read a giant picture book, one that's really big, because they might think that that's a little bit too young for them or a little bit babyish. So you might opt for something a little bit sleeker, something a bit smaller if you're writing a story for slightly older kids. But generally, if you're writing for younger kids, so you're writing for your little brother or your little sister, it's nicer to have a really big book that they can see the pictures really clearly, and you'll have space for some really lovely details as well. So all of these books over here, all different sizes.
Okay, there you go, guys. Now that you've seen some examples of different shapes and sizes of books, you can, I guess, make an informed decision when you are creating your own book, and you know, keeping in mind what you want your reader experience to be like when they pick up that final beautiful book and open it and look through your wonderful story and your pictures. So for homework, please make sure, as usual, that you are reading and drawing if you are, and continue working on those sketches. And I will see you next time, where we will talk a little bit about the composition and layout of your pictures. Happy reading, happy creating. I will see you all next time.